Hi everybody, question I got was for Math Excel 9.4 number 8. The length of a rectangle is 3 centimeters less than its width. What are the dimensions of the rectangle if the area is 180 square centimeters? So most of the questions will be why is my answer coming out negative? So I'm just going to start from the beginning. First of all, I'm going to draw a rectangle because that's the question. Right? So let's pretend this is the length, this is the width. You could assign whatever you want. And it's also asking for the dimensions of the area. So what else do I know? Area is length times width, we call it. Okay, so they said the length of a rectangle, so the length is 3 centimeters less than the width. So L is equal to, or is 3 less than the width. Okay, makes sense? So, and this is the width. What else do I know? The area is 180 square centimeters. So here's the area, right? I can replace that with, or substitute it with, 180. Okay. Now length, remember, length is going to be 3 less than the width. So instead of writing an L, I'm going to write W minus 3. Why am I gonna do that? Because if I'm solving for variables, I can only solve for one variable at a time. So I can't have an L and a W. So I'm gonna replace or substitute everything with a W. So the L will become W minus 3. Well, that means it's times W. Okay. If this looks confusing to you guys, I'm gonna change the dot, which is multiplication, to another form of multiplication that you might recognize. It's a parentheses. Remember, parentheses is still multiplication, but now I see it, oh, that looks like a distributive property. And then if you notice, the L is gone and it's just replaced by 2 W's, okay? Another thing that I'm going to do is maybe it would be better if I could move this around, because some people can see an equation if what they're trying to solve is on the left hand side and like the whole number is on the right. So let me just move this. Keeping in mind I still kept that exactly as it is equal to 180. So when I'm looking at it this way, I'm like, oh, I know this is going to be distributive property. So W times W is W to the second power. W times negative 3 is negative 3W is equal to 180. So it's shaping up into something that I can recognize, but since it's 9.4 and it's solving for the two roots, I need it to equal to 0. So I recognize this as my leading coefficient, 1. This is the quadratic. So this becomes my B, so to speak, and this is my C. So I'm going to move the C to the other side. Positive 180 will now become negative 180. And I could put 0 in. So you could kind of like see, oh, now it looks like the other problems that we have. Now that we have a quadratic trinomial, what I will do, kind of like on the side, oh, can you see that? Right there is my, what we call factoring, right? So if I'm trying to factor, don't I multiply my A and my C together and I put it over here? And this is going to be what we call sum of B, right? So let's slide this up a little bit. All right, so my A and C is, remember my leading coefficient is going to be 1. 1 times negative 180 will be negative 180. Here's my B, so my B is going to be negative 3. All right, so I'm thinking of factors that will come out negative 180, but when I add them together will be negative 3. Okay, I'm going to start, let's say, with a 10 and an 18. That's going to come out 180, but when I subtract them, it's not going to be a 3, okay? 180 I know will be factors of 5 or 10, so let's try 15. Okay, so for those people who are like, okay, I'm clueless, I'm not good with my times table, I can do this. If I try 15, I do 180, then I divide it by 15. 12. There you go. So that means I can use 15 and 12. Okay. slide this up again slightly. Okay, now if I'm looking at this 15 and 12, well, that's going to come out 3. How do I make that a 3? Oh, I know. I can make 15 negative and 12 positive. If you guys forgot this, go back to your chapter 8 notes and look at your cheat sheet, okay? So I'm going to use negative 15 and positive 12. So I just factored out this quadratic trinomial. So I'm going to write it this way first. W minus 15 and a W plus 12 is equal to 0, okay? Well, the question would be looking for the 2 zeros. I don't care if they call it length or width or whatever the problem is, you're still looking for your 2 answers, right? So W minus 15, want to look for its zeros. W plus 12, I want to look for its 0. Moving 15 to the other side, I find one of the answers. Moving 12 to the other side, I find the other answer. Oh no, that's going to be negative. Well, this is a word problem. So if I'm looking at my rectangle, one of them cannot be negative, so I can just say 15 and 12 is my answer. Okay? Hope that helps.